It's the first of the month. The payment is due on the place that you live in, that you purchased. You purchased a trailer. Why? Because you're really poor. And poor people typically live in trailers. Your payment? $14.60 a month. Your bank account? Negative $35. Why? Your Goldman Sachs card paid the minimum payment of $90 a day late. A second comes around. Your bank account? Negative $55. Why? Your bank? They charge you $20 in overdraft, making your account, which is already negative, more negative. You haven't been paid in 3 weeks because your boss forgot to pay you again. You tried looking for another job. No one will hire you. Why? You don't have enough experience. How are you supposed to get experience if no one will hire you? So you stay at the job where you make less than $400 a week after taxes. But you haven't been paid in 3 weeks. Third? Yeah, your car insurance is due. You pay $298 a month on 2 trucks that you own, make no payment on, that you bought outright. Yeah, they're 20 years old, each over 20 years old, and you pay $298 for the bare minimum insurance policy that you could possibly purchase in the state of New York for $10,000 worth of liability coverage. And it's still $298 a month. You start getting bills in the mail. Propane, water, sewer, electric, Wi-Fi. The people that provide you Wi-Fi? Yeah, they're sending you letters. What do the letters say? If you don't start making payments, we're going to shut off your service. But you are making payments, but apparently it's not enough. Then your credit card bills start coming. You have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. You don't see a way out. Interest rate on all those cards? Between 29 and 31%. Because you're young. And there's no cap on interest rates on credit cards. So they can rape you as much as they want to. Most of those credit cards, maxed out. Why? Because you make less than $400 a week. And sometimes, those credit cards, the only thing keeping you fed, the only thing keeping fuel in your vehicles, so you can go to work, just to not get paid. There's no food in your house right now, because you haven't been paid in 3 weeks. And your credit cards, those bills, the numbers on there, too fucking high. So you don't buy food, and you haven't bought food in 3 weeks. What'd you eat yesterday? Stale pita crackers. What'd you eat for dinner? Alcohol and flour. Why? Because if you're on alcohol and flour, you're not thinking about the fact that you haven't been paid in 3 weeks and that you're in $10,000 of debt and you can't make the payments on the place that you get drunk and high in. Health insurance? You had health insurance at your last job for 3 months. You paid almost $500 in those 3 months, but you never used your health insurance once. And now, you think you might need health insurance. Because you're starting to notice some problems, probably related to the fact that you're not eating anything, because you can't afford to eat anything. So you ask the state, hey, can I get some free or reduced cost health insurance? The state? They say, no. You make too much money. You'll be fine. You make less than $400 a week. You haven't been paid in 3 weeks. So you can't see a doctor. Even though it feels like your insides are trying to turn themselves inside out. That's how bad it hurts. Your credit card bills are due again. The statements, they keep going up. But you keep making payments. Why? Interest. Interest. 29 to 31% on all of your credit cards. Every single month. One of those credit cards alone is at over $5,000. The only thing that's on that credit card is repairs to both of your 20-year-old vehicles. Just so they can pass New York State inspection. No mechanical issues, just to pass New York State inspection. Your cats are eating every day. Only because you aren't. You need to buy fuel again. You need to buy propane again. So you reach out to the state. Hey, I need to buy propane, but I don't have enough money. Is there anything we can do about that? The state says, no, you make plenty of money. You'll be fine. You? You make less than $400 a week. But you haven't been paid in 3 weeks.
Tell me, how are you making it on one income? I am a 45-year-old mom who got the degree, got the job, got the steady paycheck. My husband finally, for the first time in all of our years of marriage, has a steady job, a steady paycheck, but we still weren't making ends meet. How are you doing it? How are you doing it without a side hustle? Because I legit want to know. Gas, groceries, insurance, utilities, everything is up. How are you doing it and doing anything extra without bringing in an extra income? Unless you have some six-figure high-paying job. As a normal family, how are you making ends meet?
People have been living paycheck to paycheck for a while now. But the fact that evictions are becoming more common, it's just that bad because you have people saying they only pay $1,000, $1,100 to $1,200 in rent and they're being evicted. Let's just shoot it straight, right? The pay doesn't match the economy that we're living in. It gets to a point where you could take all the budgeting classes, hear about all the financial advice, but you just can't do something with nothing. God can carry you through. Don't get me wrong. Pray about it. Sleep on it. He's going to always show up for you when you need him. But you just cannot budget your way out of poverty. You can't manage finances that you don't even have. People are real deal struggling, and so it leaves them with the option of relying on family members. And here's the thing with that. They go live with family members, and then people who are also struggling or who are barely above water trying to live their life, they sometimes get upset because they also don't want the burden of having grown adults with sometimes even children, multiple kids, coming to live with them, and they're not able to pay anything in rent. They're not able to help out on the bills because they don't make enough money. People are having to rely on villages that they don't have. Let's just be completely honest. That's why it's so hard for a lot of people. People with multiple degrees, certifications, a bunch of education just want any type of job just to stay afloat. They're no longer even concerned with fighting their way to the top to climb the corporate ladder to have the best job possible that matches the degree that they went to get. They just want a single job.
You know, there's nothing quite like getting your paycheck and then it disappearing in less than 12 hours. I got paid today and I literally have less than $100 left to last me for 2 weeks. How will I get groceries and gas? I often wonder. So, if you have any side hustles or extra ways that you're making money, please drop them below because I am on the struggle bus here and I could use a few bucks. Thanks.
Those nurses that you guys see living those lavish lifestyles, buying luxury things, are typically travel nurses, or they're also just pulling a lot of overtime because overtime can be good for us. A lot of nurses have gotten into content creation because a lot of people do aspire to join the healthcare field. So they're getting supplemented with a little bit of money on the side. There's money coming from somewhere, but just the base pay as a nurse, you're not getting it. And I will also have very candid and honest conversations with people. Some people are just living off credit cards. I mean, they're not sacrificing any more of their time. Nursing already is like a laborious job, and people are upset that they have to work more than 312s to even sustain their lifestyle. They will just live off of credit cards. A lot of people are in a lot of debt. I'm gonna insert a screenshot from my bank statement. I will show you guys 2 paychecks that I received from my last job. This was before I became a travel nurse. Those checks were roughly about $1,800 each. The money that we make now just doesn't align with the economy. And honestly, the more you make, the more they take. So making more puts you in a different tax bracket. They're gonna take more. So essentially you need to work probably 3 times as hard just to help supplement like what the income that you have. That's my 2 cents. Don't believe everything you see on social media.
I'm literally sitting here about to write my rent check out, and I just checked my bank account. And after the bills that hit at the end of the month and at the beginning of the month, and after writing my rent check, I'm literally gonna have like $200 to my name, if that. I don't even think I'm gonna have that much. And it's just like the concept of not living paycheck to paycheck ever just seems like it's getting so much farther out of reach. You know what I mean? It just, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I'm gonna be 33 in August, and I'm like, I don't have a savings. There's nothing in my savings. I have 2 kids. You know what I mean? It's like the second you think you're getting ahead, something happens. A kid gets sick, you have to stay home, you're missing work. 2 days of work missed, that's like $200 to $300. You know what I mean? It's crazy out here. And yes, I pay a lot in rent, and we do live in like a nicer area, but it makes sense for us because I work literally a block away. My parents are 5 blocks away. My kids go to school in this area. You know what I mean? Like if we were to move somewhere else, it'd be farther if it's gonna be cheaper. I would need a car. I don't have a car because I can't afford one. I can't save up to get one. You know what I mean? We'd be driving over here anyways because I work and my kids' school and my parents. Also, like being able to put the first month's rent and deposit on a new place when I have nothing saved. Make it make sense. Do you know what I mean? Anybody else feel that way? Just me?
Gone by day. I am just so damn tired of being broke. For real. Like fed all the way up. Because we get paid and we're broke. Like we're literally living paycheck to paycheck. We're broke before the next check comes in. And I was leasing a car. That's $500 a month that we saved. But let's be honest, the more money you make, the more money you spend, the more money you save, the more money you spend. It's just this vicious cycle that we can't get out of. And my husband, who has worked for the same company for 9 years, he finally got a promotion and a pay raise. And then they cut his hours. He works another job on the side, like just to bring in enough money for us to survive. We have a mortgage, like we have our regular bills. We just don't have a car payment. And granted, yeah, like we're homeowners, right? So we have equity, but equity doesn't help buy groceries. And then my niece said the funniest thing to me the other day. I was talking to her mom and I'm like, I've got $50 for groceries this week. $50 to feed all 4 of us. And my niece was like, you don't get food stamps? I'm like, hell no, we don't get food stamps, girl. Don't you know, the more you make, the less help you get. It's so frustrating, and that's why I try to monetize online and on TikTok Shop and Facebook, because I'm bound and determined to get us out of this rut. Like, I just want stability. I mean, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? So I would love to get a job where I felt that I was paid my worth, but because of I was an addict and I'm in recovery, I have a record, and I have been offered key holder jobs, and I'm like, I can't take it because I already know when you do my background check, and sure enough, they're like, yeah, we're sorry, you just can't be a key holder. So like, I would just be making minimum wage, and that's not, to me, that's not worth it to have to pay daycare and not be with my kids. So I was cleaning, and at least when I clean, I get paid by the job, not by the hour, because I'm really fast. I've been doing it my entire life. My mom was a clean freak. My first cleaning job was at 16, and I have cleaned for years. So I was supposed to be working for this interior designer. I haven't heard back from her yet, but fingers crossed. So yeah, it's just really frustrating. And I refuse to go into debt because we've been there. So we don't have a lot of credit cards. Do we have any credit cards? I don't think that we do. And if we do, we probably owed on them and they're in collection kind of thing, because we were in a really bad rut. And that's when we stopped leasing the car. We were like, look, the mortgage is the most important part. So let's pay the mortgage, make sure our bills are paid, and everything else comes after. Right now we're down to one vehicle, but I don't want to finance one because I just know how financially we were screwed. Like we had more going out at the end of the month than we did coming in. And I don't want to be ever stuck in that situation again because it's stressful. It is so stressful. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. But like, man, we can't get a break. Like, we can't get a break.
I'm poor. I've been poor my entire life, 23 going on 24, and I'm broke every single week. I get paid weekly. At the end of the week, I got like $50 to my name. All I'm doing is paying my bills and then paying off my debt. I was an idiot in college, don't even use my degree, but I have a specialized job. I'm making decent money, and I have nothing left over at the end of each week. I work 50 hours a week. I'm just tired of being poor. So if you know any side hustles, second jobs, that would be great. I'm not trying to drive all the time, so don't tell me to DoorDash.
How bad is it when you have 3 adults with a 4-job income and you're still living paycheck to paycheck? I mean, it's getting crazy, right? Just to afford rent and car.
I hate being vulnerable online, but I just have to be so for real with y'all for a second. I work 40 hours a week and I'm broke. Like, I'm consistently broke. And I don't mean like, oh, I have just enough to pay my bills. No. Credit card payments are late almost every month. The rent and the car payment are the only things that are like consistently on time. Everything else is like, I don't know how to prosper. I'm in my 20s and I feel like I'm constantly stressed out about the world, about my finances, about politics. I don't know how the fuck we're supposed to thrive in these conditions. And everybody's always like, oh, just find things to be happy. Everything costs money. I live in New York City. I leave my house and I spend $50 unintentionally. I don't know what to do, you guys. I don't know what to do. And it's so fucking jarring, like, to sit here and watch influencers and watch reality TV sometimes and hear that people are paying $7,000 a month for rent and $12,000 a month for rent. Like, wow. Wow, $12,000? That's crazy.
Hey. So I work in the operating room, and I just worked a 12-hour shift in the operating room, and I cannot afford my rent. I can't afford my rent. I can't afford gas. I can't afford groceries. I can't afford any of my endless other bills that I am responsible for because I am an adult. After working a 12-hour shift in the operating room. So you know what I have to do? I have to DoorDash, and it's 12:30 at night after I've been on my feet in the operating room for 12 hours all day. I'm now out DoorDash driving.
In case you were curious what the housing market is like right now, my husband and I found a house that we absolutely loved, kind of a dream for us, on Thursday. We went and looked at it on Thursday. Put in an offer 10 grand over asking on Thursday. They had multiple offers already on Thursday. They decided, because they knew a bunch of people were going to be interested, to wait until Sunday, today, to do best and final offer, which means we had to put in our absolute best and final offer. We went up to 30 grand over asking, and we offered a $20,000 appraisal gap, which is if the house gets appraised for less than what you offered, you have to cover that gap with cash at the closing table. So we offered that. We also, in our offer, said that we're going to do inspections, but we're not going to ask them for any concessions or repairs. So if anything came back bad, they didn't have to fix it. Also, 3-week close. We didn't even stand a chance. We lost. They had 9 offers. 9 offers. Somebody offered, I think, 40 or 50 grand over asking with a full appraisal gap, which means 40 or 50 grand. Like, I just actually want to die because now I'm depressed, and it was my dream house. And now someone else gets to have my dream house because I'm too poor. I love my life.
What's the cost of a one-bedroom where you live? Because if you're like the residents of Atlanta, Georgia, it's becoming increasingly unaffordable. I made a previous video about this where the average rent in Atlanta is $963. I should have clarified that's per person. And so when you take two people needing to have roommates now, the age group of 45 to 64 is increasing at a rapid rate over the last 20 years. They're basically bringing to the table about $810 on average. That buys them a one-bedroom apartment for $1,600 for two people. So if you're like the people of Atlanta, it is becoming absolutely unaffordable, unobtainable to even rent, let alone dreaming about buying a house.
I need to know the secret. Where y'all getting y'all money from? Because there's no way. There's no way that everybody's out here struggling, yet everybody has money. Okay? I'm seeing stuff, people out here flaunting what they got, summertime goals, going on vacations, all that. Where y'all getting this bread from? And don't tell me it's a credit card, because I don't believe that. Somebody give me the real source of where y'all getting this money from.